Hey, it's Mark Linear with your video thought for the day. All right, this week, I'm looking at different habits that we need to really work on cultivating. As followers of God, there are habits that we can integrate into our lives that will not only make our lives richer, but make our lives better in service to God and others, which is a good reason to be alive. So I thought I'd start this morning with a passage out of Psalm 51. Now, Psalm 51 is that psalm of repentance of David. After he's committed adultery with Bathsheba, he's trying to get himself right with God again. And it's one where he prays to God to create a clean heart in him and renew a steadfast spirit within him. And that passage, that idea in Psalm 51 is such an important one. And verse 10 is the one that says it, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit. Create zeal again within me for God's righteousness. It's the idea Jesus preached in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5, I think it's verse 6, where Jesus says, blessed are the ones who hunger and thirst for righteousness because they'll be filled. It is a wonderful habit to have, to seek daily to grow in your zeal for God, your zest, your desire, your hunger for Him that changes and transforms who you are. It's very easy for us to become lackadaisical, just where our walk with God's the same old, and it doesn't need to be that way. One of my favorite Old Testament characters is the Old Testament character of Enoch. And he's way back. He was like Methuselah's dad or something like that. I mean, way back in early Genesis. Enoch, in the midst of all of these people who lived for all of these long periods of time, and then it says they died. With Enoch, it doesn't say he dies. It says, and he was not, for God took him. And we don't know what that means, but a lot of people in the Jewish sages for the ages have said that, Enoch just reached a point where God translated him into God's care. And I always love the thought that God always gives us a chance to grow closer to him. And perhaps Enoch had grown as close to God as he could in his human form at that point in time. And so God translates him into his eternity so that he's constantly growing before him. God will give you a chance today to grow closer to him than you've been before. Let's decide we're going to be creatures with a habit of zeal for God. We're going to seek and hunger and thirst for him more and more every day. It starts with prayer, but it ends with action. So let's seek God today diligently and see how he grows this habit of closeness in our hearts and minds. That's your video thought for today.